Hello and welcome. My name is Robin and you're watching a Robin Reads. Today I wanted to do a tag video with you guys, and this tag is called the Dilemmas of a Book Nerd tag. I'm not sure who created this tag, but I will link everything down below. So I wanted to do this tag because I think tags are a really great way to get to know the booktuber, and yeah, they're also really fun. So yeah, let's get started. I have them written down in my notebook. So the first one is, how do you store and organize your books? So how do I store them? Well, these, yeah, sort of bookshelves. They're not really bookshelves, but sort of. That's how I store them. I have a Billy over there and just a shelf over there. And how I organize them, first in read and unread. The books behind me are books that I have not read. And the Billy bookcase I have is with all the books I have read. And then I have sorted it into languages, because my first language is Dutch, and yeah, English I read also a lot of books from. So those two are also one, and I have a very small pile over here with German books. And then I have sorted it into genre. So behind me this is more thriller and fiction, and here under there is fantasy. So yeah, that's basically it. The second question is, how do you keep track of what you have read and what books you own? So I have, yeah, a couple of things I use to track this. I don't know why, but probably because I just like organizing and yeah, organizing my books. So the main thing is of course Goodreads. I think everyone uses that. But I also, the owned books I keep track in an Excel sheet I made. And there I have just a list of all the books I own. And I update this when I get new books or get rid of them. And the other way I have the books I read is also an Excel sheet. But I also have a little, yeah, file thing, just papers really, where I write down the books I've read, and also just a monthly spread, where I put in my statistics. So for example, like the genre, but also the age, etc. So yeah, that's how I keep track of my books. The third question is, do you lend your books out? I have done this before, and yeah, one time my book was damaged, and like the cover was, a piece of it was just ripped off. So yeah, that was great, not. And another time I had two books, and someone lent them of me, and it was in my last school year. And then we did our exams and were done with school, and I never got the books back, so that was also very great. And yeah, so I only lend out books to people I know well. For example, my neighbors, they, yeah, are friends of ours, and I lend my books out to them because I know when I want to have them back, I just can get over there and just get them back. And yeah, that's it basically. I don't really lend out my books anymore because yeah, they get damaged, or yeah. The fourth question is, how do you buy or acquire your books? I have done like a subscription last year, I think. That was a Dutch book subscription where you got you paid like 40 euros for a whole year, and you got ebooks and those same books also in audiobook form, and that were 8 books per month. So that was really great actually, and I really liked that. And so that's how I acquired a couple of books. I also download a lot of free ebooks, for example, on Kindle. But my main thing that I have done and don't really do anymore, but have done, is just buy books in thrift shops, because we have a lot of thrift shops in my country, and yeah, they're just really great. Like the books are like 1 or 2 euros, and I don't have a lot of money, so I can't just pay like 25 euros a book. So those are just great, and yeah, so that's how I acquire my book basically. But I don't really do that anymore because I don't have money, like none at all. So I don't really do that anymore. I got a couple of books for my birthday, but yeah, that's it. So the fifth question is, how do you respond to the question, or how do you read so much? So yeah, I'm not sure if I read that much. Probably to a lot of people it sounds like I read much, but I don't think that really is the case. In my opinion, just looking at the time I have and what I spent reading. But I read so much just because I like it, basically. So when I get home, I read. So I just sit down in the chair and read. And that's how I read so much. Yeah, I just make time for it and do it. Yeah. And a lot of people say audiobooks, but I don't really read a lot of audiobooks, so that's not really a thing I do. One main thing I do, and I think that really helps. I think a lot of people, um, yeah, would maybe it is a good idea for people to do that, but I don't know. But I always read before I go to sleep, because I sometimes I'm a bit busy in my head, so I like to just read. And yeah, probably like 10 pages, and then I just go to sleep. So yeah, that really helps. And yeah, that. The sixth question is, how do you pick your next read? So a lot of people are really mood readers, and yeah, of course I'm also I'm not really a mood reader. I'm more of a, yeah, how do I feel reading? So that sounds probably the same to you, but it doesn't to me. I mean, like when I'm really tired, I can't really read, and therefore probably I will use an audiobook, or I read like a children's book, because they're way more easier. I'm not gonna read like a literature book like Charles Dickens or something. Um, and yeah, how do I pick my next read? I participate in a lot of readathons and book clubs and those kind of things. So mostly there is a theme for a book club. So I use that to decide what I read. For example, this month it's Fantastic February, and you read fantasy books. So yeah, I just grab a couple of fantasy books and read them. And yeah, that's mainly it. That's how I pick my books. And the seventh question is, how do you pick books you bring on vacation with you? So I don't really go on vacation that much, because, yeah, again, money. But when I did, it depends. You know, if I go on an airplane and I have a very little suitcase, then I will just do on my e-reader. And if we have been with the car a couple of times on vacation, then I just bring a couple of books, and I just choose the ones that probably I'm currently reading or that are on my planner. So yeah, not really different or anything. The eighth question is, do you write, highlight, or mark up your books in any way? No. And um, that's just my opinion. I really hate when people do that, because, as I said, I go to the thrift shop a lot of times, and a lot of times there is in the front of the book a name of someone, and then I'm like, yeah, great. So I really don't like that. And I think it's really nice that a lot of people can use the book, and if you highlight it, yeah, then someone else can't use it. And so I don't do that, but if I have like quotes, which I don't have often, but when I have them, I will just write them down in a notebook or something. The ninth question is, which do you prefer, new releases or backlist books? So, I don't know. Recently I read a lot of new releases because of the website NetGalley. They really love that. But yeah, I'm not sure what I prefer. I think, yeah, they're both really great. And the last question is, do you read books as they are released or wait for an entire series to be published before reading one book of the series? I wait. I just hate it when the books aren't out yet. So, for example, with, yeah, just every series basically. So I read series that are already out. One example I have that I caved, well, is the A Song of Ice and Fire series by George R. R. Martin, known from the Game of Thrones series on HBO. That one I caved in and I'm reading right now, but yeah, he started with the series in 1996, so I don't know. By the way, I'm really feeling sorry for the people who read the first books in 1996. That is so awful, they don't have an ending yet. But yeah, those are all the questions I got from this tag. I hope this makes a little bit more sense to you, what my reading tastes are, what my dilemmas are as a book nerd. And yeah, I hope you like this video. Please give it a thumbs up, comment and subscribe, and I will see you later.